There we go. It's part 9. We were looking at dermatomes here, and we took a moment to read that a dermatome is a skin segment innervated by the cutaneous portion of spinal nerves. Okay, and remember in Hilton's law, let's take a look at Hilton's law. Hilton's law says any nerve serving a muscle that produces movement at a joint also innervates, that same nerve innervates the joint and the skin overlying the joint. So if musculocutaneous is going to operate the biceps and the brachialis, which flexes the elbow, then also the skin right here is going to be innervated by musculocutaneous as well as the joint. And then, of course, we're going to be doing some things with the thumb. This is the posterior aspect here. So this is posterior. This is triceps. So excuse me. Over here we have something more of the biceps persuasion. Okay. This is not very accurate because, as it turns out, we should have a division here between what is musculocutaneous and what is going to be median, and then what is also going to be the ulnar. So I do have some visuals of that, but not close at hand. I'd like you to know, though, that T10 is the umbilicus and T4 is the nipple line. It's a quick reference for your viewing pleasure. Then I would like you to be aware of the outflow, motor integration, as it were, and from intention to effect. And we have a nice little table right here, which provides us with these different levels. We have, of course, motor information and sensory information correlated at the spinal level. This is called the segmental level. Up here in this middle range here, we have what is basically conscious intention. We have the motor cortex. We have the brainstem. We're going to convey instructions. Some of it might be informed by the cerebellum, but mainly the cerebellum is considered at this level. This is the high level here. The cerebellum and the basal nuclei. And basically, what is this telling you? It tells you that if you take aim and you consciously here in this level try to hit the bullseye, you're probably going to miss. Whereas if you have done something thousands upon thousands of times and you have skill that's been guided by teachers or instructors or whatever, and you have developed those skills, then you rely on the patterns and the training of those skills that are programmed into your cerebellum and into your basal nuclei. And then through the movement, do you notice that when somebody is just standing there with the ball in their hand for at the free throw line for basketball, that they might, try to take aim, but they might not do as well. Whereas if they sort of dribble the ball a few times and sort of heft the ball a little bit, get into their motion a little bit, and then make the shot, that sometimes they'll have better success at actually getting a basket. And that's because they're employing their movement here. They're sort of entering into their skill memory. Okay, so there's something to be said for having movement and being guided by the movements that you've been practicing. Okay, so this is the highest level of programming. If someone has no practice and no skill, there's no programming. But if somebody has been doing something for a long time and has tremendous experience and skill, then this is going to actually be a much better source of success than just pure intention from the conscious level. Okay, so then we press on from that into over here. We have our reflex. So over here we're sensing what's going on, and they always do something naughty like this. They stick a tack or a nail or something into the skin, and so we are to get the impression that there is some painful or highly stimulating event going on, and so we have the sensory how shall I say, action potential coming in through the dorsal root, and then here's the dorsal root ganglion there, and then we have the dorsal horn, where we're going to have a synapse. We're going to have an interneuron right here, and then we're going to be in the ventral horn where the motor neurons are. Notice that we're bypassing all the rest of the central nervous system here. So this is a pure reflex. It's not something we think about. We could get some information going up, but it will be probably delayed compared to the 100 meter per second activity going on here. We're going to get this action potential coming straight out through the motor ventral root here over to the muscle, and we're going to probably move our hand or do something to pull that little nail out. If we're touching something that's burning hot, we'll just simply have to move it away. This might be a little more complex to get the nail out of the hand. But at any rate, we have a reflex which causes us to move quickly and hopefully prevent damage and trauma. Okay, and then only later will we actually have the experience of the conscious perception that, oh, something somewhat painful has happened, and you can say, ow. Okay, so that's the now it will be traveling up this way through the spinothalamic pathways. Okay, so that's that deal right there. Then let's move over to this event over here. We have a couple things going on actually here. We have a tendon with a Golgi tendon organ. Okay, and this responds to stretch of the tendon right there. You can actually activate this by pressing your finger right against the tendon. If you press your finger right against the base of your skull, you'll get the muscles that support your skull and neck region to relax a little bit. Okay, a lot of us are rather tight right at the base of the skull, but it's basically and also our shoulders are kind of pulled up against our skull a little bit because we've been white knuckling through our day. Okay, so if you were to apply a little bit of pressure there in the back of the neck, especially toward the base of the skull, you'll be activating the Golgi tendon organs, and the associated muscles will simply relax. It's a reflexive event where the tone, the epinephrine activities reduce automatically. On the other hand, we can have a spindle type of thing going on here, and I might toss somebody an object to catch. It might turn out to be a heavier than anticipated object, and so it stretches the muscles of the arm that you're using to catch the ball or the package, whatever it is. If it's a little on the heavy side, it's like, whoa, you get a little stretch there, and then you get an increase in muscle tone. So that's an important detail. Okay, so these are arranged in certain, how shall I say, very nice ways, where sometimes if I need to increase the strength of one muscle, I might actually have a connection to the Golgi tendon organ of its antagonist and cause the antagonist to relax. Okay, that's what's coming up in our future here, is that we have, this is actually giving us, in some regard, too much information unless I stay here for quite a while and actually suss out all the different types of innervations going on in there. I think it's simplest just to say spindle. You pull on the spindle and the muscle has an increase in muscle tone. Okay, and then you have tendon. Golgi tendon organ is going to reduce the tension, the sympathetic activity. Okay, so I need you to understand that particular dynamic.